All right, class, settle down. Settle down, everybody. So today we are going to be discussing a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. I don't know if any of you guys remember the MySpace days, but shout out Tom. Okay. But today I'm going to be presenting to you guys my hypothesis. Does anyone know what a hypothesis means? I do not either, so that is what Google is for. But my hypothesis is all emo or scene kids are now ravers. Today's lesson, I am going to be proving to you guys that all emo and scene kids are now ravers. So, with this being said, let me go ahead and present my evidence. So today, we are going to be talking about a topic that I have so many thoughts on, and it's something I've thought a lot about in the past, and that is, why are almost all ravers former emo and scene kids? Before I jump into everything, if you guys are new here, thanks for checking out my channel. Go ahead and subscribe, follow, give this video a like, and of course, throw your comments down below. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this topic. With all that being said, I'm gonna kick this video off with a prime example being my own background and history with the pop punk and emo scene. So for those of you who don't know, my experience going to shows has started back when I was in elementary school, but I really got into live events when I was about 14 or 15 when my friend's mom took me and my friends to a music festival in New Jersey called Bamboozle, which was primarily an alternative rock pop punk festival that took place 3 days over Memorial Day weekend for I think over 12 years. I went to about 10 of them. So we're talking about my formative years from about 2005 to 2015 when I eventually started going to EDM shows and festivals. Now, if some of you guys are my age, I am 29, I was born in 1991, you would know that around middle school, high school is when we saw an explosion of pop punk and rock bands. It was the coolest thing to do. I feel like everybody I knew was in a band, it was something we idolized, it was the guys I had crushes on, and MySpace was the shit. That is how we discovered our music. I can't even tell you how many bands I found because of their MySpace pages. I was also your typical Warped Tour junkie. I went 6 years in a row. It was my highlight of my summer. I was completely obsessed. Just to give you some ideas of who I listened to, Hayley Williams from Paramore was my hero. I dressed like her. I cut my hair like her. I was obsessed with everything Paramore. All Time Low was my other love of my life. I was completely and utterly obsessed. I don't even know how many times I've seen them. I've met them a few times, but I also loved Yellow Card, From First to Last, Story of the Year, Reliant K, Motion City Soundtrack, Sugar Cult, Cartel, The Rocket Summer I was obsessed with, The Main I was obsessed with, Boys Like Girls, The Starting Line, A Day to Remember, Taking Back Sunday, Mayday Parade, Cute Is What We Aim For, Newfound Glory, Bring Me the Horizon, Sum 41, We the Kings, The Somerset, and Sleeping with Sirens, just to name a few. Then things obviously took a turn. In 2011, I went to my first EDM show, and then right after that, the EDM bubble burst, and it was all over mainstream music. I'm talking Swedish House Mafia, Avicii, Skrillex, Alesso, Steve Aoki, Diplo, Zed, David Guetta, Afrojack. It was all the rage, and I slowly started to change the type of music I was into. Around that time, I also slowly started to see the pop punk scene start to fade away. MySpace was obviously no longer a thing. Facebook was all of the rage. There were more dwindling audiences at those shows, and now they were being replaced by larger EDM music festivals and local raves. So I always wonder, why did this happen? For me, part of it was the sense of community. There was nothing like the energy that I got when I went to a rave or an EDM festival. It was such a loving, positive atmosphere and such a strong connection to the music, which again, I think for a lot of us, it's always been about the music. But I wonder, why are so many other people in the same boat? And this is where we have to look at a couple artists as an example. So Exhibit A, Skrillex. We have to start here. So I used to love Skrillex when he was known as Sonny, and he was a singer in From First to Last, one of my favorite bands. I actually saw him perform a solo set as Sunny. I don't even remember the year, but I just remember being like, what is this sound this guy is doing? I thought it was the weirdest thing at the time. And then shortly after that, he put out his album Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites, which kicked off everything. Skrillex is the perfect example of someone who was heavily involved in the rock and emo scene and is now a DJ and producer. He still wears the same type of things that you would typically see somebody who is more seen wearing. Again, I think you're gonna get a lot of people who identify themselves as bass heads or fans of dubstep, rhythm, and bass music in general as former emo kids. There's a similar tone, and a lot of that music is carried over with the artists that you like. They're very influenced by alternative and rock music, and some DJs go as far as to work with rock artists on some of their tracks. For example, Exhibit B. Keizo. Keizo is another perfect example of this situation. He has songs with Alex Gaskarth, which I fangirled over from All Time Low. He has the remix of Last Resort by Papa Roach, which I'm a big fan of. He also has songs with Bless the Fall. So again, anybody who was a fan of this music in middle school and high school would of course carry over and be a big fan of Keizo's sets. And we can't stop there. Exhibit C. Said the Sky. Said the Sky is your perfect example of like an emo sad boy turned DJ. He's thrown in Panic at the Disco songs in his sets. He'll remix a lot of Millennium songs, so the two kind of go hand in hand to me. It's just wonderful to hear those throwbacks in a set when you used to really, really love a genre and now it's combined with one of your favorite artists. So Said the Sky kind of represents a little bit more of like an emo kid, whereas like Keizo is kind of more punk, metal, alternative vibe to me. And then I just had to throw this one in, Exhibit D. Cash Cash. This one's a big one for me because I was obsessed with Cash Cash in like 2008, 2009 when I was a junior and senior in high school. They were a band. I saw them perform live several times. They're siblings, and now they're DJs. So they were definitely more like on the pop side, pop punk. Go back and watch some of their music videos. You guys will die. Sugar Rush was one of my favorite songs by them. Oh my god, it gives me chills. So they are the perfect example of somebody who was a pop punk band turned into a DJ producer. Breathe Carolina is the exact same scenario. Some other artists I would say that fall into this category, Sullivan King. He's the perfect example of like a metalhead who is now a heavy bass music artist.
To the right, to the back, this is how we fucking shred shit! Go in the fucking thing. Would you just fucking not?
Rez has a song with Under Oath. Marshmello has a song with A Day to Remember. The two guys in Adventure Club were also in a band. And you have the likes of Slander and Zedstead, who again give off the exact same vibe. So there are so many more artists who are the prime example of going from one genre into another, and again, the fan base carries over. So if you were a fan of alternative, emo, pop punk music, of course you're then gonna follow your favorite DJ who plays a lot of those influences in their music and in their sets. And again, to bring it back to dubstep and bass sets, now you're seeing a lot of things carry over from the rock scene, like mosh pits. It's not something that was always popular, but I would say in the last like 3 years, mosh pits have grown into something that you see definitely more at dubstep shows. But again, if people are respectful, I feel like it's harmless. It's the exact same energy these people got at metal shows they're now getting at dubstep shows. It's heavier music, they want to have fun, they want to jump around. So you can see these two genres do play into each other. There is a lot of overlap, and of course, like I said, there are so many bands that still exist now. The scene just isn't as popular as it once was. And unfortunately, we saw that with Warped Tour finally being canceled. The demand for that kind of show just isn't as high as EDM shows currently are, or were. So class, thank you for coming to my lecture. Please comment down below with your thoughts and opinions on this matter. Do you think my hypothesis is correct? I hope I presented enough information. There's still so much more I can go into, but to me, I will always be a little pop punk kid at heart. I love the music still. It brings me nostalgia to listen to old sets and songs. I have a playlist on Spotify when I want to listen to some high school and college throwbacks. But hey, sometimes you grow out of things, and I found a community that I love even more and I find even more accepting and positive. So everything worked out the way it was supposed to. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun talking about it because these are two huge interests of mine. Again, give this a thumbs up, subscribe, follow, and you guys can check out my podcast, Rave Culture Cast. It comes out every Wednesday and it's available on all major streaming platforms and here on my YouTube channel as well. Thank you guys for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys. All emo or scene kids